Now, that is not the case for some people, but for the majority of people, that is the mindset.
I've met you guys before.
Yeah.
We did a wonderful panel in
We did
Atlanta.
a great panel.
Listen, I had so much fun doing that panel. I wish more people could have saw it. I think there was a lot of insight that we talked about of being African-American in this business.
Yeah.
But I got to start with you, Ricky, because people didn't get to hear this question out loud. And we talked about it. I ended up having to deal with this question 2 weeks later.
I was trending. Twitter. It was wild.
Ricky Starks, are you black?
Absolutely.
Are you? Wait, what was the term that was in my mentions? A foundational black.
Yes, I've never heard this term before.
I've never seen it.
I had to mute the thread because people were going on for so long about it.
What was that? I didn't understand what it meant. You know,
I don't know.
I didn't know what foundational black was. And so, you know, it's funny. Those are multiple accounts. I've blocked one, but it's on this weird, like, I need to see your birth certificate. I need to see your parent. It's like, bro, first off, I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. If I say who I am, that's who the hell I am. And I'm not about to sit up here and have you try to question me on what I am, quote unquote. And so these are people who follow a false idea of what it means to be black, and in return, doing the same thing, the same damning thing that they criticize colonizers or white people for. You're doing the same thing. It's a stupid, nasty cycle that obviously I've dealt with, especially coming from New Orleans. But at the time, like, I'm not about to come on Twitter and have you say, "Hey, you need to show me, like, I ain't Obama." I ain't, like, come on, that's not what we're gonna do here. So I wasn't aware of what's happening until I had a friend text me, and I just scrolled it and I skimmed it. I said, "Wow, y'all." Wow, I'm over here. Wow, that's what y'all on today. I said, okay. And I just went about my day.
Bro, I was so blown away because, like, we have this panel. And I announced the panel. I was like, this is great. I can't wait. Like, great response. People was like, oh, how can I see this panel? And then it was like one person. It was like, why is Ricky Starks on the panel? And I was like, fuck you talking about? Why is Ricky Starks on the panel? Then it was another one. Then it was another one. Then it was another one. The crazy part about this is somebody said, Ricky doesn't have black features. Have you ever seen a Creole person before?
I don't think people have. Believe it or not, like, I don't think people have been in, like, Louisiana.
I got 3 features to prove my point, and one of them I can't do in public.
I knew it was coming.
Okay.
Tell them like it is.
But I'm just saying, like, it is such a wild precedent to set where you have colorism within the culture.
Yeah.
In an industry that is not chock full of African Americans to begin with, and was much maligned years ago and built up upon stereotypes, you would think that black folks would stick together.
I don't even know what black features, quote unquote, are. Like, there's so many different black features.
I mean, I could show you in an old cartoon, them Looney Tunes cartoons with the crows, with the big. That's what I guess. Is that what they think?
That's a foundational black, huh?
Is that what that means? Because I mean, Willow, do you get that at all?
Honestly, I was very shocked when you had received a bunch of questions like that and nobody said a peep about me being on the panel.
I didn't think of that.
I was like, how did I get past the radar on this?
Slip right by it.
I was like, my dad's white as hell.
Yeah.
But I think, like, mixed folk are very much a part of, like, black culture in America because at the end of the day, this is the mixing pot, right? So racism is basically like, listen, if you're not the person that we're trying to have be the face of America, like, you still deal with all of, like, the oppression and the systemic kind of things that are going to hold you back. And I understand there is colorism, there is privilege in being lighter skin, in having different features or whatever. I recognize this, but at the end of the day, like, people do still perceive me as a black woman, and that is something I can speak on. So I found it weird that nobody was like, what about Willow, though?
I didn't even think of that. That's
I
actually
say
funny.
nothing about Dre. The longer I've known you, you're turning into an old Italian man before my eyes. You look more and more like your grandma every day.
Oh, I heard all about your grandma.
Yes.
His grandma's the best.
Yeah.
My grandmother is a full-blooded, semi-racist Italian woman.
Yes.
That my first memories in life were watching pro wrestling with her, right? And she booed every black person. And I would sit next to her and I was like, Grandma, like, what the fuck? You're not like them. That's what she used to tell me. So when I see stuff like this, and I never understood it because, yeah, my features, like when I had an afro, believe it or not, a big nappy ass afro. And like white people was like, oh, I didn't know you can grow one of those. I've seen your grandmother. My grandmother had like the long Italian pony. My grandmother robbed banks for a living.
Oh my God.
I like that.
Yeah, she was like a super
that.
gangster.
Gambled a little bit. It's all right.
She gambled a lot.
She was eccentric.
Yeah, Sicilian, like true full-blooded Italian. But I don't get those questions anymore because, you know, I've grown up and whatever. Like my pops is like racially ambiguous, but he's like proud of it. It's very strange. But it's like when I saw that messaging, I was like, man, this is like some dangerous messaging to put on a public platform that people can latch onto and then start questioning what is black. Foundational black? I was like, yo, what the fuck are we talking about? Would Malcolm X be a foundational black American?
Valid point. I think I don't give it much thought